I think the easiest way to tell that you're watching Lupin the Third is that you can go from a couple of episodes that are dark and incredibly action-oriented, and then immediately, with no segue, go into an episode like this, episode 20, To Hear You Sing Again, and not feel any awkwardness or out of placeness at all. Because episode 20, on top of being a fucking masterpiece of an episode, is once again a purely Lupin-styled episode. No clones, no dreams, no lame tropes of modernized anime seeping into the story. It's a very slow episode, really, and it's hugely character-driven. So much so to the point that it's actually probably one of the best Lupin episodes of all time. Okay, so the story is that a fictional singer, Nora Anita, is, as an old woman, on her deathbed and in a catatonic state. Her husband, Martin, is currently attempting to sell off pretty much everything his dying wife ever owned, including her car, which Nora received as a young woman in her prime after endorsing the car brand in a commercial. The car, worth millions of euros, is of course stolen by Lupin. There's a couple of twists, however, as first of all, the car, a veritable treasure, absolutely cannot come under any harm whatsoever, even from Zenigata and the police who are trying to get it back from Lupin, so it's kinda one of those stories, which makes it sorta fun. The other twist is that Martin doesn't seem to give a shit and really just wants the car gone. What spawns from all of this is an incredibly emotional and really well-written flashback-centric episode where we learn a lot about the life Martin and Nora shared. In fact, it's barely got Lupin or any of the other characters in it at all. Lupin just casually drives the car around and Fujiko is sorta there for a bit. But it's largely an episode based around Martin and how he's choosing to cope with the slow decline of his wife's health, along with her imminent passing. I won't spoil too much, but it's an incredibly well-written episode, and not only is it well-written, but it's very subtle too, especially by Lupin's standards. Martin isn't a bad guy or anything, he's getting rid of Nora's things because he can't really cope with life without her, but never does the story break down and just state that. Hell, it doesn't even fully allude to it, but the way it tells the story perfectly expresses everything and leaves you to easily put together the pieces that were never even given to you in the first place. It's a somber, slow story, in dire contrast to Lupin's normally over-the-top and colorful action, and yet, like I said, not once does this feel out of place for Lupin the Third. It's the perfect example of what a versatile and truly unique franchise Lupin the Third is. Lupin can be fast and zany, serious and action-packed, or just sort of slow and melancholic. It's not always perfect, but it's always Lupin. It's a great fucking episode, and a true pinnacle of Blue Jacket's storytelling ability. It doesn't once come off feeling like a typical anime's storytelling. It's Lupin the Third all the way. I find myself not only able to strongly suggest this to anyone who loves Lupin the Third, but just to anyone that loves a good story in general. It's one of the best Lupin the Third has to offer, and definitely one of the best Blue Jacket episodes. I give it 5 out of 5 Lupins. Like, subscribe, blow your brains out, and remember to check the description for your link to all this Blue Jacket madness. I'll see you next time.